What's up, guys? So today I'm going to redo the Soarer's cooling system. I've had everything in boxes for like 2 months now, and I think it's about time I actually get that stuff out and put it to good use. Unfortunately, my memory card formatted and you missed pretty much everything I did. So I'll kind of just do a quick recap, I guess. So I took out the battery, took out the intercooler hose, I took out the bottom intercooler hose, all the under plastics are off. I'm about to drain the radiator. Once I drain the radiator, I'll probably remove this little fan for the condenser. I'll work on maybe getting this cover off or this top hose, probably the top hose because that'll come out much easier. But it hasn't been too much. Unfortunately, I did time-lapse this and now it's all deleted, but it's not the end of the world. I'll still show you everything else. Everything I did so far is pretty self-explanatory. So I'm gonna drain the coolant now and then we'll move from there. So we got the belt off. This is the new belt I'll be using. Once I put it on, I'll show you the exact, I guess, rotation or how it's supposed to be set up. And that way you know how it's gonna go. All right, so belt is on. I don't know if I mentioned it, but you need to run some washers behind these bolts for the water pump. And that's because there's where the stud goes, there's some unthreaded portion that was, spaced out from the fan. And I realized, hey, there it is. Most older cars will tell you the direction of the belt, but I'm used to working on newer cars that won't tell you. You'll have to look it up. So if you have a 1J or a Soarer, it's right there. And if you have a 1J but no sticker, that's how it goes. So right now I'm probably going to remove these transmission cooler lines and then take off the belt here on the bottom. I am changing out the thermostat, so I need to see what's involved as far as getting to that. Shouldn't be too hectic. But so far so good. All right, so radiator is in. One thing I have to note is the Supra radiator doesn't line completely straight with the SC or Soarer radiator, so that's straight, all bolted up, and it's off. So basically, just got to put it like where it's gonna go, and I'm probably gonna just bend it in my vise. It does fit good on the bottom. It is in both the mounts, so that's good to go. I also have to make brackets for the electric fan, and that's about it. So I'll probably do the brackets first for the fan, then I'm gonna do this, and then just see how things go from there. All right, so these are the brackets. I don't know if I already showed them, but I kind of mod them, made them rounder, better fitting. I'm gonna use some of this trim and bumper paint to kind of just clean them up, and I got it hanging from a tree. So here I go, just gonna give them some nice coat of paint. All right, so I got the bottom bracket made, just real simple, little piece of aluminum I had. I have the wires, both sides going into one plug. Now what I'm gonna do is get the other side of this plug, just test it, make sure everything's pulling the air towards the engine. And then I think I will put it in and test fit everything. See if there's any clearance issues. Should be good, but it's always good to double check once we have everything together. All right, so got the radiator in, fits pretty good. The only issue is where the brackets for the stock radiator are, they do not line up. As you can see, it's off. So what I'm gonna have to try to do is bend this half down and see if I can get it to grab onto this kind of hump on the radiator. Should work out. I know that's just pretty much what everyone else does when they put the Supra radiator in a Soarer or Sc300. All right, so I had to drill out a bigger hole on this side and bend the bracket down. This side I had to cut this. There was like a little bracket here, and I'm pretty sure it was just for the stock intake box, but as you could see, really no movement out of the radiator. So if you just bend these brackets down, you'll be perfectly fine. I see people over-engineer it and try to make something new. Yeah, it might not be so pretty bent down, but it works. I could probably, you know, have somebody weld it and fix it and whatever, but honestly, it works and it doesn't look all that bad. So I'm going to probably put the lower radiator hose because that's pretty much set. Upper radiator hose I can't do quite yet. I kind of want to just get into putting the battery box back in, putting the fan controller, wiring that up, making sure our fans kick on, and then start to do that because I do have to cut the upper and put in the, I don't know, adapter or whatever so I can run the AEM temperature gauge. But that's a whole nother part of this whole little install. So let me put the battery in and see about setting up the controller. Alright, so maybe not all things go perfect, but I guess I don't know if I mentioned it, but people were saying you had to trim in, and I was understanding that it was going to fit, but the battery box is not going to fit. It is actually hitting the IS300 fan, so I'm thinking about just trimming it right here on this part of the plastic, and I think it should work, but I don't want to cut too much and not be able to fit my battery, so I'm going to just kind of test fit everything and then see how it goes from there. Alright, so I just got done testing the fitment. The battery has space. I already bolted in the battery tray, and as you can see, I just trimmed this end piece, which really serves no purpose whatsoever. So yeah, go ahead, just trim your battery. This is the battery I bought the car with, so I guess that's some kind of reference as size and what fits and whatnot. So yeah, trimming it really didn't change anything and it didn't hurt nothing, so I'm fine with doing that. Let me tell you, what I'm showing you took forever to do, and that was fit intercooler piping, fit the fan, mount the fan, and even so it's not perfect and I'm kind of not 100% happy with it, and I'll have to find a better way. But fan is mounted. I got bracket here and bracket here. I use zip ties. Yeah, not great, not proud, but it works. Then I got this 90 that was actually off the Turbo Civic, attached to OEM like mid pipe that goes there to a 90, an aftermarket 90, and then the factory like crossover pipe for the intercooler. So it fits. It's not going to hit any of the accessories. I think what I'm going to do now is probably put the clamps on the intercooler and hopefully call that done. Hopefully I don't have to do anything crazy. One thing I do need to figure out, because I need to do the fan switch next, is where I'm going to put the probe, because it needs to be somewhere around here, and as you can see, no space. I could drill a hole here or there, anywhere, but that would take me separating the fan once again, which, like I mentioned, it was not very fun to even get it in there. Battery is in place temporarily. I was just trying to see like fitment and whatnot. So yeah, I think I'm gonna figure out the fan switch and I'll show you guys how to do that. Alright, so this took a little bit of figuring out as far as what to use without climbing into the engine or climbing inside the car and getting some switched 12-volt power. So all these fuses are constant power. There's constant power going to all these. This is a headlight, left side or right side, whichever, and that only turns on with the headlights, obviously. So I was kind of thinking, I'm going through the thing here, and I'm thinking about what don't I need. And you know, a lot of this you do need as part of the engine stuff, but DEF, that is our defroster. I live in the Southwest. It is always hot. This car will never see ice. It'll always be in the garage. It's never going to sit out. It's not going to ice over ever. I will never need that. So, I mean, do what you want, but I'm going to use that. I already figured it out. This up right here is our switch 12 volt. This is a constant on our relay. I tested this out already. I just kind of hooked everything everything up kind of roughly. Just, I mean, as you can see, I went by the directions. You know, if you order the same kit, you'll have the directions with you. I put the probe in a pot of boiling water, and sure enough, it kicked on. So I think right now what I'm gonna do is mount the controller. You would think I would have a crimper, but usually I use pliers, but I'm thinking about just doing things right and getting a crimper. That way I can wire everything real nice. So I'm gonna do that. I'll do the spade. But for now, I'm probably just gonna mount this and then figure out where I can cut some wire. I don't need like 5 feet of wire for this little condensed space here. So that's what I'm about to do. Once it's kind of in, I will probably just demonstrate it with the boiling water again and just give you a quick overview of what I did. Alright, so honestly, I don't even know the last place I let off, but I have everything wired up for the fan. I just need to add one plug. Everything went together pretty simple. I used the defroster as a switch. I just took that out because I will never see ice or snow. I mean, other than one time I took it out just to take a picture. So that's all done. I'm going to finish up the wiring on this. I'm going to do the upper hose. I'm going to add that little thing in between so it can have the gauge. Honestly, I just want to get this done. I'm really tired of it sitting. It's been sitting here for like 2 months. It's ridiculous. So I'm just going to get as much done as I possibly can. Alright, so everything, wiring is done. So now I'm going to install this adapter here. I'm going to have to cut this hose, and we're going to be using the AEM X Series temperature gauge. Just for peace of mind, it's nothing wrong with, you know, adding extra gauges, you know, just to make sure everything's running. So far I've got a temperature gauge for the transmission I need to install. I have the coolant, and eventually, you know, as we build onto this car, we'll add some more. But for now, we're gonna just do this, and it should be self-explanatory. You just cut somewhere in the middle, install this, add the sensor, put Teflon, and then after that, I'm gonna probably run the wires. But once everything is put together, I'll probably just go into the wiring, just because I'm focusing on getting the car actually movable at this point and out of the garage, because I'm sick and tired of it being on jacks. Alright, so if I was in a 6-speed or 5-speed car, it'd be done. But lucky for me, I'm automatic, so I got more work to do. And that's where this B&M Intercooler comes in. I'm going to be running an aftermarket transmission cooler because this radiator is not set up for a automatic. So, I mean, like my last Supra, I ran one of those and it was good. This one, I'm going to be doing an inline temperature gauge. Excuse the huge mess. Just running this one. It's meant for like diesel trucks. But this one will be going in the glove compartment because I didn't get another AM. I just felt like it was extra. And eventually this car, hopefully, will be converted to, you know, a 5 or 6 speed. It's just not my immediate plan. So we'll be doing the transmission cooler, and then we'll be pretty much done after that. I just got to run gauges, put coolant, all that good stuff. So let's do that. Alright, so I got the transmission cooler in. I used this bracket that was there. I used the bracket for the horn, and I just relocated the horn up there. Ran the hoses. I'm probably going to add like a hose tie or something. That way I can keep these hoses closer up to the body. But for now, that's where it'll be until I get those little hose holders, whatever you want to call it. Got the inline temperature gauge right there. Everything isn't plugged in, nothing's wired up. I kind of just want to see if we have any leaks or anything. So I think I'm just going to run it as is and, I don't know, fill it up with coolant and see what happens. For some reason, the koyo radiator, all the fittings for this did not fit. But on my Honda, I just kind of pushed the plastic into the radiator where the bottom is, and it fit pretty snug, so I'm going to try it again. For Toyotas, I recommend using this Asian 50/50 or a red 100% concentrate. It's kind of hard to find concentrate nowadays. You could even go with a Toyota brand. I didn't feel like going to the dealer, so I'm just using this. I'm sure I'll be more than fine. Alright, car's hooked up. Here goes nothing. Alright, so I know it's not the greatest video, it's not super in detail, whatever. Been super busy lately. I work full time, go to school, you know, come home tired, so I really haven't been able to give so much attention to the car. School's done in about a week or two, so hopefully get some more stuff done. But at least I got it to where it's just the minor details. Next video, I plan on installing the gauges, and then sometime after that, finally get back to driving the car. I want to make some videos kind of like talking about the import process or buying a JDM car process type of stuff. Maybe some other stuff about what I think about the JDM car market, because I know right now it's kind of exploding and a lot of the excuses, supply and demand, blah, blah, blah. But maybe it goes a little bit beyond that as far as, you know, I don't know, people just taking advantage, honestly. So, I mean, that's a video for another time. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly happy it's back to running. We'll get it driving real soon. But till next time, JZ Chris 92. Later.